Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
You mean to tell me that an ordinary domestic cat is terrorizing 3 grown-ups?
This is episode 188, recorded October 6th, 2024.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Jeff Mohr. On this podcast, we cover the good, the bad, maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through 1969. In each episode, we'll discuss the monsters, spirits, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. With me this week are my incredible co-ghosts. Well, first, not with me this week are the estimable Doc Rotten, who is in Vegas. Also not with us is Chad Hunt, who is busy taking care of business. He should be back next episode. But we do have Daphne, who is awesome, stupendous, and likable as hell. How you doing, Daphne?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that Chad is TCBing out there and Bill can cover for him.
Yeah.
We got to do it. We got to do it. People got to do what they got to do. Also joining us is Bill Mulligan from 70s and 80s. There's a reason for that. Bill Mulligan, who loves cats and Barbara Shelley.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So did you write that or did Mikey write that?
I wrote that.
Okay.
I have cats on. This is my actual cat that I have on my shirt here. This is Giz, the
So
Durkee
cool.
Sphinx. I'd have Barbara Shelley on there too, but then I'd have to explain it.
Well,
That's too much.
That would
That's
be
overload.
awesome.
Yeah.
People would rip the shirt right off my back and steal it from me. So
also with us is Mikey Z, who brings chills and thrills to the proceedings.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
And there's a particular reason for that
Yes.
choice of words, right? Mikey's got a great Facebook group called Chills and Thrills. Check it
And
out.
we have over 200 members at this moment. I am so
Excellent.
thrilled by
Nice
that.
job.
It's only been up for a little over a year now. So
and
Yeah.
you can win swell prizes too,
Yes, you
as
can.
someone
That's what I've
did.
heard. Very
Ooh.
cool.
Because
Bill was
they-
our mystery photo contest winner of last month, and that's his prize.
So when my
Excellent.
folks said, "Why are you wasting your time watching Mad Made Monster for the 40th time and you're only 12 years old?" I could have answered back, "One day, Mom. One day. This will all pay off."
I
As soon as I
recognize the
saw
handle to that wood drawer right away.
Yeah,
Well,
I
as
see
soon
a
as I
Mikey
saw-
Z in my future. Yes.
As soon as I saw that it was Bill who made the guess, I was like,
Well,
all
but
right, it's over.
No. It literally starts out with like, here's a button, and you're like, oh, well, that's not much. And then after 10 or 11 clues, Mikey's like, okay, folks, you guys are really dim. All right. It sounds like Schman, Schmade, Schmonster. Okay, come on.
All right. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
we're all here. We got a quorum here tonight. But Decades of Horror and Gruesome Magazine partner with Play Now Media on several of their streaming channels. In particular, Decades of Horror, the classic era, is on the Classic Horror Movie Channel, the Classic Sci-Fi Movie Channel, and the Wicked Horror TV Channel. And stuff's happening over there. Hopefully we can announce something the next episode, at least if things go according to schedule. And they always do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
But we're getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, check them out. They've got a variety of ways you can watch there. You can watch them free with ads. You can subscribe. Still get them free with ads, but then I believe you can do have a list, save your favorites, whatever. Or you can pay and see everything without ads plus premium content, which is pretty good. We got next couple of movies we got coming up, I think, on 70s and classic era are streaming there. All right. So check them out. On this podcast, we start by giving some basic details of the film we are covering, followed by each of our first impressions of the movie, and then we'll move into a general discussion. And do taglines, do posters, make fun of stuff. Jeff will bore you with lots of details and incomplete sentences. Our topic today is The Shadow of the Cat from 1961. And now most people know how I feel about cats. And mostly because from the time I was like 3 or 4 years old, I found out I was really allergic to them. And they have a way of seeming to be attracted to people that ignore them.
Yes, they are.
And hey, I'm over here. Now I'm in your lap. Now I'm rubbing on your face. And look at this one here. It's just hiding down there in the corner, looking innocent and everything. The director. What?
I love that picture.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there chilling out, wondering when Jeff is going to sneeze. Yeah.
My
Look at
eyes
his
will start
face turn
watering
red.
soon.
Yeah. It's great.
Pretty soon I'll get hives. The director is John Gilling, written by George Baxt. The cast includes Barbara Shelley, Andre Morell, William Lucas, Frida Jackson, Conrad Phillips, Richard Warner, Vonda Godsell, Alan Wheatley, Catherine Lacey, and Andrew Crawford. The production company is Hammer Films and BHP, and we will talk about that, hopefully straighten that out. It doesn't say Hammer anywhere on the film when you watch it, but it is a Hammer film, without a doubt. Distributed in the U.S. by Universal Pictures, or actually Universal International at the time. Filmed at Bray Studios, where we heard that before, in England. Filming dates November 14th to December 21st, 1960. And the release date, May 1st, 1961 in the UK, and June 7th, 1961 in the US. The budget, now, IMDb says 81,000 pounds, I believe, or maybe Wikipedia said that, I don't recall, which rounds out to be about 224,000 US dollars at the time. On the commentary to the disc for this movie, they said it was roughly between 50 to 70,000 pounds, 75,000 pounds, which was about 150 to $200,000. So in that neighborhood. And the synopsis: a house cat sees her mistress murdered. The cat becomes ferociously bent on revenge, while the murderers try to kill her, the only witness. And man, were they trying to kill her.
Yep.
And I just, there's no new information here, but I just got to kind of roll through this scenario. There's the cat sitting quietly on the bed, pretending to be innocent. Pretty soon it's staring in the window with
Glowing eyes.
I like that glowing eye
eyes.
effect, actually. That occurs several times throughout.
Yeah. It's like
Then
a
they
Salem's
hide.
Lot. Yeah.
They hide behind the books on the shelf.
I love this cat.
And then that's when Jeff starts to look like this. That's Andre Morell.
Love it. Oh my gosh.
His nose wasn't that big to start with, but the allergies are kicking
But
in.
as time goes on and
Sweat
the
is
fear
starting to
builds,
bead on the forehead.
Oh.
There he is. Yeah.
Oh, get me an antihistamine
Yeah,
stat.
we need a Benadryl. Get
Where's
it.
my EpiPen?
and the fear builds.
Ah, there she is. Yeah.
my
The
God.
cat. This is
Look at those
Frida
hives.
Jackson,
Frida Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah.
who plays Clara. Now it's even
Oh.
worse. She's actually afraid of a human, but
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
she's the only one who's got
you
good
get the
reason
idea.
to look at
I
this.
always thought a better title would have been Fear the Cat or It's the Cat.
That darn cat.
Well, I
Yes.
think that one might have been used or was
Yeah.
about to be used. Yeah.
and then finally this guy.
He doesn't look like he's afraid of the cat. It looks like he's having some lower
Oh,
intestinal
gosh.
problems.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, so
And
funny.
that is the character's name is Jacob,
Yep.
and the actor is William Lucas. Right before he falls to his death off the
Yep.
Yeah, another smart person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, though. He looks like he had a bad spotted dick or something.
Yeah.
It's not agreeing with him.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that
that's
was
our-
great, Jeff. Thank you.
That's
Very
our
good,
fun. Oh,
yeah.
and the older lady here who was the first victim is Elizabeth Lacey or Catherine Lacey.
Catherine
I'm sorry,
Lacey, yeah.
as Ella Venable, who actually a human kills her, and the cat sees it, and that's where everything comes from. The cat is out to get these other people.
Because
But is it really?
well, no, you could make
Well,
an argument.
maybe
the cat
only-
yeah,
Yeah.
hasn't done a thing.
Maybe only
Yeah.
one person is actually killed by the cat.
Yeah.
The rest of them are just morons.
Well, okay. The whole premise, there had to be morons because the premise is that the cat witnessed the murder, so we've
Right.
got to kill the cat. So what? So it won't testify against you? Get up on the stand,
Right,
raise its paw, and
Paw,
swear on a
right.
Bible?
Because
Point an accusatory claw.
because we're all psychotic and can't
Yeah.
operate. All right. So first impressions. This was my pick. So I'm going to go first, but I'm going to keep it short. I was going through finally the Universal Horror collection that came out from Scream Factory a few years ago, 6 volumes, 4 films per volume. And I came across this one in the last volume and thought, hey, this is a pretty decent movie. And I never even heard of it. And what's this hammer, not hammer thing? You know, this could be kind of interesting. Plus, Andre Morell, Barbara Shelley, John Gilling is somebody we know about. So I thought this would be a good one. And I was taking a hit for Daphne, and we'll talk about cats for the whole episode. I'm good. Hairball. But anyway, I really like this, and I love the acting, and it's, you know, they're idiots. I like the music too. But it's bang, 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 bang. You know, it's 80 minutes long, and I think I forget how many
It
moves
people
moves
killed.
quickly.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Several people die, and they all, it's all painful. So we'll slide from there, and I need to hear from let's hear from Mikey Z next.
Oh, okay, putting me on
Shadow of the
spot here.
Zatz. I get it. I get it.
Okay. I had heard about this film being that hammer that wasn't hammer, and I'm like, I think I read about it maybe in a horror book somewhere along the line. And then, like you, I had gotten that collection of the Universal later horrors from the 50s, early 60s. And I saying, I saw what else was on that collection, and I'm like, not the greatest of films on there, but there are a couple of good ones. And then I saw Shadow of the Cat, and I'm like, I got to take a look at this. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's fast-paced, as you said, Jeff. The acting is superb on all levels. Even the cat's performance, who I know it's hard to train a cat to do anything, as Bill can attest to. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of stupid human beings, one smart cat. Might have been another title for the film.
Sounds about
But
right.
a lot of fun. It moved well, and it was shot very well. And as you said, the music by, I'm going to get the name wrong, Mikis Theodorakis, I think is his name, was
That sounds right.
exceptional. Yeah, I mean, his little sting that he would have for the cat was interesting. But it was a lot of fun. It really was. And I'll leave it at that, and let's go to the next person, I guess.
All right. Well, let's take the one who has a cat backdrop and a cat shirt on. Not that he's obsessed or anything.
No.
What did you think of this movie?
Well, no, I had not seen this before until yesterday. This just had slipped through my radar, but it's no secret. I love Barbara Shelley. She's probably my favorite Hammer glamour. And I love cats. So, but you say, well, of course, you're going to love this movie then. No, because she made a movie called, I think, The Cat Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But so, it wasn't an instant sell, but look, this movie's great. Beautiful cinematography, black and white, rich, low budget. This is not a high budget film, But low budget British films, I've always said that, especially for this era, they got pride in their work. They, even if it's something as dopey as Devil Woman from Mars, it's shot well. Everything's on par. The script may let you down, but no, I really like this. Yes, the criminals are stupid. Boy, are they stupid. But they're my favorite kind of stupid people. They're stupid, but they're so dumb they don't realize they're dumb. And of course, they speak with British accents, so they sound like they're smart, even though they're not. Americans. So for those of you who might be watching, listening to this from Britain, just so you know, we're so used to having narrators be British, for any kind of documentary. Tell all the penguins as and they're all British accents. So you start getting the idea, wow, British people really know their science. And I know that's not true. You got just as many dumb people as we do, but they can get away with a lot here because if you are British and you are, let's just be kind, below average intelligence, if you walk around New York and ask what would be dopey questions from anyone else, we'll be like, well, I guess he knows what he's talking about because, he sounds like Richard Attenborough. This is a lot of fun. Barbara Shelley is great, as Barbara Shelley inevitably always is. Class, poise, beautiful, but beautiful in an accessible way. Just an absolute delight in everything she's ever been in. The cat's great because the cat does nothing. I would have gone. I expected they were going to go with a scary looking cat. One that hisses and screams and everything. And they got this tabby who just is just there and they're filming it. And I know because I've worked with cats in films. This movie was a nightmare to shoot. Without knowing anything about the history of the film, I will guarantee if anyone's left alive to talk about it, they will tell you how much film they wasted waiting for the cat to do anything, and go. And he starts licking his rear end or something. No, you're supposed to look ferocious. There's a couple of scenes where I caught the little monofilament line that they used on him to get him to do something. But I'll bet this movie was a lot of chasing the cat around. Where's the cat? Get the cat to do something. No, not that. And then they just edit it in post. I think they probably could have made this movie where there was no cat. The cat was just in their mind, just a shadow, one could say. But that would have been a ripoff. So they got this inoffensive little tabby cat, 3 or 4 of them. Probably had to film 3 or 4 at the same time just to get enough footage to cobble it together. I love this film. So thank you so much for asking me to come on because it just wasn't something on my radar. And I might have gone to the grave without having seen it. So yeah, this goes on one of my favorite Hammer movies list now.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for
not Hammer.
Yeah.
Daphne. I love your back. Your back.
Oh, yeah. I also hadn't ever seen it before. And so I was looking forward to it. And I also loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I love that we knew who the killer was right away.
It's like Columbo a little bit. Right? I'm sorry I had to throw that in.
I'm fond of that trope. And Barbara Shelley, of course. And it was so fun seeing Bray Studios and just going like, oh, there it is. There's the fountain or the grass or, and it was really nice seeing Frida Jackson. So it was a lot of fun. I love the story. I love the cat. Yeah. Nice job, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, we're always looking for something
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard of. And like Mikey said, some of the movies in that collection are a little bit of a reach, although they do have historical value, but there's some nice surprises in there that I hadn't seen before. And that's one of them. I do want to talk about this. Let's just get this out of the way. So I listened to the commentary on the disc and I was so confused because it's so complicated, the funding behind this. But then I read in our favorite Little Shop of Horrors magazine, issue 37, there's an article on the making of The Shadow of the Cat. So
nice.
There we go. The one that's got the Lost Continent on there. And I think, I forget what it's called. The article titled Boobs, Balloons, and something else.
Wow.
Wow.
About
those
about
are two
lots.
synonyms
just
right
to,
there.
just to
Anyway.
clarify, from balloons to the blues.
What? There's no boobs in there?
Oh, wow, Jeff.
know.
Where's your mind? In the gutter.
Yeah.
Well, there's many articles about her, so I'm sure there's
I
gonna
think
be.
there's
I have
something
so
there.
many jokes going through my head right
All right,
now.
all
I'll
right.
refrain though.
I guess I'm the boob.
No,
So-
it's got to be on here.
When you watch the movie, it says BHP Productions. Well, BHP Productions was formed by George Baxt, who wrote the screenplay, a theatrical agent named Richard Hatton, that's the H, who I believe was Michael Carrera's agent, and producer John Pennington, whose name is on this movie as the producer. And I saw a picture of him on set, but all of the cast and crew all said it was really Anthony Nelson Keys was really the one that they called when they needed stuff. Who is Hammer. So BHP didn't have any money, so they were shopping around for funds, and Hammer bought into it because they had just dropped a movie called alternately The Rape of Sabina or The Inquisition. I think those were the same movies. And so they moved Curse of the Werewolf into that slot, and then put this movie, Cast of the Cat, and the Sabina and Curse of the Werewolf was supposed to be made on the same set, so they were going to save money by making these movies and just dress them differently. So they did the same thing with this one. So Hammer produced it, and it was released as a double feature, and then they pitched it to Universal International, who bought it. And let's see. Also, there's a lot of things in here about this. So, The Inquisitor was a Columbia-backed film, but Curse of the Werewolf was a Universal-backed film. So now they were making one Columbia and one Universal film. Now they're making two Universal films, and they could only make two non-Columbia movies there a year. So this stuff was going on. And then Hammer, the money that went to BHP came from Hammer and went through another company. And then the money that BHP paid went to a third company or a fourth company, which went to Hammer, if they were for paying salaries and stuff like that. It was really complicated.
Plot sounds like something out of Oliver Stone's JFK. Follow the money.
So I don't know what the whole shenanigans was with the intermediate companies. But for instance, John Gilling was employed by Hammer and was supposed to do the Rape of Sabina. So in order to keep him happy, they gave him a different movie. So that's, it just becomes it's a Hammer film. But part of the agreement was it would be marketed as a BHP production.
It's a Hammer film.
Although everything on it was Hammer. All the money, Hammer board meetings discussed the progress of this movie.
If you look at the credits, all of the crew are classic Hammer.
Yeah.
Gothic.
I wonder if that's partly because at this point Hammer had moved into color and really became very associated with color film.
Well, and you're right. This is their last black and white horror film,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So here I actually found the part. BHP was paid by Hammer's subsidiary Hotspur out of Hotspur's fee from Universal, and BHP in turn paid another Hammer subsidiary, Falcon, for the use of Bray Studios. I mean,
this sounds like the plot of The Big Short.
Yeah, we can't just have the money
Can't be a direct stream of money flow. It's going all over the place.
So that's where the controversy has come for years that it wasn't a Hammer film. But again, the crew said that they considered that they were all reporting to Anthony Nelson Keys from Hammer rather than John Pennington, although Pennington has the producer credit. And then one last thing, and we'll talk about this later, but I just thought this was hilarious. So it's going through the censor board in England, and the censor board is going to give it, it's either going to get an X certificate or an A certificate. And the X certificate means nobody under 16 can go. The A certificate means if you're under 16, you can go with an adult. Okay. So they gave them a list of things that they had to change from the script in order to get an A instead of an X. And they went, nah, this is going to be with Curse of the Werewolf. We want an X.
Right.
So,
which is crazy. This movie could be on Nickelodeon and it would be the mildest
Right.
thing on it.
well, yeah. So like things like the blood dripping out of the guy's mouth after he falls off the building. That was.
And I believe the initial attack on Ella was.
Yeah, that was a little brutal.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean,
brutal.
it was cut down. I think there were initially 9 or 10 strikes on her.
Oh.
And I think there's only 3 or 4 shown in the film.
Right, right. And that you're right, because they said that and I was looking for it and it wasn't there. So we didn't get there actually is a cut that has those 9 hits restored somewhere. But
you're right. That was pretty brutal. That was pretty intense. And they started off with that right away.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that does make it kind of funny is, so in England, it gets an X certificate. No one under 16 can go. But in the US, they wanted to release it in early summer, like June, when the kids get out of school, so they could have better attendance.
Yeah, because
and it had less cuts than had all this stuff.
Well, U.S. loves its violence. We don't.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Over the head 9 times. Right
61.
Hey, we just got through Psycho. What else?
Yeah, come on.
All right. Well, let's. What do we do now? Oh. Who's our
resident Chad?
Yeah. We need a Chad.
I'll do it.
Hanging Chad.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
I was not looking forward to that.
You should. We throw
right.
the guest stars.
I am just recovering from a slight case of taglinitis, so I would appreciate it. Someone else could.
And now it's time for Taglines with Chad, as played by Bill Mulligan.
Oh, boo! We came here for Chad. But Bill looks like Daphne.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. Okay, so here we are. The taglines for Shadow of the Cat. The only witness to murder.
Murder.
Capital letters. Was it supernatural force or psychotic compulsion that drove 5 maddened murderers to destroy themselves? I think it was stupidity.
I go with the second one.
They definitely were maddened.
Yeah,
I mean, they were like, they saw that cat and they went absolutely nuts. Kill him!
And when they had the chance to do it, of course they fumble it. Yeah.
Chase it into the swamp.
It's like Monty Python. Kill the witch! It's a cat! Anyway.
Here's another tagline. The most shocking suspense thriller of the year.
Along with a couple dozen other ones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Stare into these eyes if you dare. Were they the hypnotic lure that pulled 5 clever killers to their doom? Or was it some supernatural force, some irresistible psychotic compulsion? In no universe are these people clever. Just saying. Okay, here's but even more baffling than that tagline is the next one. The yellowest of crime films. There is literally no yellow in this black and white movie. I'm thinking they mean giallo, right?
Yeah, I'll show you. I don't know if you pulled that one up. I might have to. I'll pull that quickly. But on the Italian poster, it's got. I forget exactly what the phrase is up at the top, but I translated it, and that's what it came out to.
Strange.
And that's what giallo is. Yellow.
That's what giallo is about.
Yeah. I don't see giallo, but okay.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Oh, sure. Didn't you see the little gloves, the little black gloves on the? on the paws of the cat.
Right. And we did have cat vision, right? We did have the POV from the cat.
We did have
so-
point of view.
Filmed
Yeah,
in cat
yeah.
vision. And our last tagline for Shadow of the Cat: this summer's new big thrill and chill stew from Universal. What the actual hell does that mean?
I put that one in for Mikey. That was a universal
Oh.
tagline for the double feature.
I
cool.
can't sue because the name of my Facebook group is Chills and Thrills.
I
not
know they went
Thrills and
backwards,
Chills.
but
Yeah.
So-
And there's no stew involved because that just doesn't make any sense.
I don't want to edit what I find because it could cause confusion around.
Oh yeah,
the world.
you don't
unlike
want
the
confusion.
taglines. Yeah.
If different sources have a different.
What do
thing,
you
so-
put in a thrill and chill stew? Corn, potatoes,
Cats,
cat. Ooh.
Cat.
Oh no!
Whoa, Jeff. Whoa.
braised? Yeah, all right.
Bray
Yeah.
Studios.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. I meant it's an ingredient in a movie that creates.
Add just
the-
a little
okay.
bit of Bray.
All right. Good recovery there. Yeah.
That's really what I meant.
There's
And
the
that's
tagline.
been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
Meow.
Love that.
And we did play that on the Ghost Story episode, so if you get around to listening to that, the crystal
Ghost in the
anyway.
invisible bikini.
All right, we're going to take a look at some posters here. Bill gathered.
Which are pretty darn good, I gotta say. I was looking to see what they cost.
Yeah, that one.
The original ones
That's
are pretty
a nice
pricey,
poster.
but look at that. It's got
Yeah.
a cat and
Mhm.
Barbara Shelley. Oh, this
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
right on the wall.
And
It
Eyes
is
are up
nice.
there, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Staring at those
and,
eyes.
and
all right.
3 pretty long. That's the one. Stare into these eyes if you dare, and then the small print on the right was the rest of it. Were they
That is a
They
great.
put all the taglines on this one.
Mhm.
a lot? Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that
well,
one.
it
And the
shows
eyes,
a
of course,
lot, though. You know.
Yeah.
your eyes,
hmm.
your eyes drawn to the cat, and then I don't believe. I'm trying to think. Well, maybe when she was in bed, I don't remember seeing Barbara Shelley.
I think
Remember
that.
that.
I think you're right, Jeff. I think that's when she was getting out of
woke
bed
up
to
and she
see
was
what was
hearing
going
what was
on.
going on above her. Yes.
Yeah, I replayed that scene a number of times. You got it right.
All right, and then we have the
action.
only witness.
That
to
looks
murder.
like
Now,
something from a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yeah.
The cover
That's different. That's a
title
strange-
card.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a common color combination. Only often
Right.
it's reversed. I think. Anyway, and then what do they call these? These have a name.
Yeah. I
3
have a
sheets
few.
or something, or just long posters, tall. I don't know.
I can't remember the term, but they're fun. They're nice. They're nice to collect because
Yeah,
you can fit a bunch of them on
slender
your
and-
wall.
yeah.
So that's a nice one. And pretty much, a lot of them are just repositioning of the original, and then they added a couple of shots in the bottom. Oh, and we've got Andre Morell's character Walter hanging over the edge of the bed.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
It was.
His death scene. I thought was the most suspenseful in the film. Yeah.
And then we have these.
Oh, that's kind of a variations already.
Yeah, a black and white version bordered, with red background.
Yeah.
And the other one's red with, there's some yellow there.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I see. We have a
And the
visitor
yellow-
there.
And the X certificate. Oh, the bills. Aren't you
Ah,
deathly
good.
afraid? Bill?
Oh no.
Oh no!
No. Excuse me while I go wander into some quicksand or fall off.
That's right. Go
I know,
chase
this had
after a
everything
cat
for you,
onto a
Bill.
roof. Yeah.
We have the English swamp version of quicksand. Bog. Schatteneimer Katze. And that's Shadow. of the
Gesundheit
Cat,
to you too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
or the cat's shadow. That is. And you know how the Germans always have to make it sort of surrealistic and scarier, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. They got nothing on the poles though.
Well,
Polish posters are the best.
we have to start looking for more
Yeah,
of those. And then
Yeah.
Cotton Havener, and I
It's like
looked
a
that
kid's book.
up.
Yeah.
That is
does.
Danish,
Oh.
and it's translated to "The Cat Takes Revenge."
Ah.
I did find another one that I'm not going to pull it up because it'll take too long, but that was one of those dual language ones. It had a French title, and then the bottom one was, I think it was Dutch. It translated to "The Ghost of the Cat."
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that'd be the posters. Now, the director, John Gilling. Now, all I put up are the things that we have done, and he only directed of these the Reptile. The other two, he was a writer or co-writer on, the Gorgon and Trog. I think it said story by.
Mm-hmm. Because the Gorgon was Terrence Fisher, right?
Right.
Didn't he do one of the Mummy films for?
Yeah, he did the Mummy Shroud, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of other stuff. These are just the ones. Don't take this as a.
These are just the ones you've covered. Okay.
Right.
We got more to go.
We haven't done Plague of Zombies yet.
Well, no, we haven't.
Oh.
So that was the double feature made back to back with the Reptile, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did. Pirates of Blood River, the Gamma People, which I want to see. It just sounds crazy. 10 episodes of The Saint.
Very cool.
From 62 to 69. And then what did you mention, Mikey? The Mummy Shroud, Blood Beast from Outer Space.
Ooh.
That sounds
Blood Beast from Outer. That's not the same as Nightcaller from Outer Space, is it?
Original title, The Nightcaller.
Oh, see, boy, I really like that one. That is a super low budget but super ambitious movie.
John Saxon, Maurice Clinham.
Oh, it's great, but it's got one of the most downer endings, man. Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun one. Yeah, I like this guy, and I thought Mikey mentioned this thing. This thing moves at a nice clip, but I was never bored. I was never fast forwarding. I was I'm enjoying watching these nitwits go to their well-deserved doom.
They're just
great.
Yeah.
Sort of like a perverted version of like an Agatha Christie novel. How's this moron gonna die? You know?
Yeah. and Daphne pointed out, this is not a mystery, and because I don't always like mysteries, because a lot of times I feel cheated at the end. Like I'm trying to figure out, well, can I figure out before the inspector does who did this? And it's like, then they pull some ridiculous, there's no way no normal human being could have ever figured this out. And with this one, there's none of that. We know who did it. In fact, we so know who did it that here's one of the other problems. Not only are the criminals stupid, but the police officer, who seems like a nice enough fellow, really seems like a dim bulb. Like immediately, maybe it's just being an American and watching my wife watches way too much true crime. Obviously, her husband killed her. His story stinks on ice. And they're always like, well, who would have any reason to kill her? Oh, I don't know. The fact that she's in a loveless marriage, she's got all this money, her husband has really incredibly sketchy criminal relatives. He's the number 1, 2, and N3 suspect. Okay, I mean, come on.
Well, I know you didn't know him personally, Bill. You're saying you like his movies, but apparently nobody else liked.
Yeah, he was not a nice person to get along with.
No,
Gilling person. Yeah.
What did
a bit of a bully on the set, from what I heard.
If something went wrong, you got chewed out, and you might have been told.
At one point, he wanted to fire the entire effects crew.
The assistant director said that they, in that towards the end where the ceiling's falling down.
Yeah.
That the first time they did that, they didn't have enough stuff. It didn't go down, and he just screamed and yelled at these guys. And so when they shot it the next time, they dumped everything. And was like, "Oh, you want more?" I thought it, and
now
then he went ballistic and started doing an Winfrey. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Now, in his defense, he had just spent like over a month trying to direct a cat.
Well, that's true.
His nerves were frayed.
They do say that was an issue.
But if he yelled at Barbara Shelley, he deserves to be horsewhipped. So
yeah, I think he respected her. He did not have any issues.
With the exception of Barbara Shelley and
Andre Morel,
and probably the standards, like Bernard Robinson and
Frida
Bernard
Jackson.
Robinson, those guys, But anyway, so apparently he changed this quite a bit. The original script from George Baxt, you didn't know who killed him. And also, according to George Baxt and according to Barbara Shelley, there was a lot more in there where people were, it was like their conscience was bothering them and getting to them. And a lot more like that. And for whatever reason, Gilling switched it and showed the killing right off the bat, so everybody knew, and took out that whole. Those people never did get a conscience.
Well, I mean, it's kind of too bad, because that was something that I thought that I picked up on and liked about the story, even though it was obvious that the cat wasn't killing them there. But and then the Michael Latimer, or the
Latimer,
Latimer.
Latimer.
I mean, he did kind of mention a couple of times, so they're projecting their
guilt,
their bad feelings and guilt on the cat.
The Frida Jackson Clara character indicated, it's looking at me with accusatory eyes.
Yeah.
So
what Barbara Shelley said, it was a good film, but I thought that the original script was 500% more spooky. And then the person interviewing her asked, well, was it the director, distributors, or producers? And she goes, well, that puts me on the spot. I think it happens when there's a lack of imagination. I suppose in a way that's the director's fault. George's original idea of the cat and the consciences of the people who have done these crimes, the cat was kind of their conscience. It brought their crimes up to face them. I don't think that came over at all. There was much more of a feeling that you weren't quite sure if it was a normal cat or if there was the spirit of the dead woman in the cat. Right. Nothing of that was brought out. It was nicely shot and a competently done thriller, but it could have been more.
See, there's a whole subgenre of Japanese films, ghost cats, and the premise is usually someone is horribly murdered by a samurai or something. And a cat comes along and drinks their blood and then is possessed with their soul and is out for vengeance. And this is like a much milder version of that sort of thing. But yeah, I agree. That would have been interesting. And I love this film. But if you buy into the fact that these people are idiots, everything makes sense. If you stop and think about it for a while, it becomes a problem, because besides trying to kill the cat, which is unnecessary, the other thing they're trying to do is find the original will. And my question is, why? What difference does it make? You've got the new will. An old will doesn't supplant a subsequent will.
I found that confusing too.
And there was no other record of the original will either. They couldn't find
the original
one.
I mean, the will that she wrote there at the opening of the movie, that one gave it all to her husband, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So there, suppose. Oh yeah, that was the original.
Well, what happened to it?
But oh no, that was the one that they showed, and there was like, yeah, see, I get everything. But then for some reason they're like, oh no, if they find the original will, something. It made no sense. So instead, they're tearing the house apart, which is the only clue that people have that there even is an original will.
What's that scratching?
I know why that guy went to jail for a couple of years, because these are the dumbest criminals.
All right. Well,
whatever.
So the writer is George Baxt.
Hey, look at this.
Surprising.
So cool.
Circus of Horrors, Revenge of Frankenstein. Revenge of Frankenstein, it just says additional dialogue. So, but City of the Dead,
love City of the Dead,
Burn Witch Burn, and Vampire Circus.
Love Vampire Circus.
And this guy is an interesting guy. I don't know. Did you read about him?
No.
Anybody?
Are we going to
Yeah,
find
I
out
did,
something
yeah.
horrible?
No. What'd you find out,
good,
Daphne?
Well, just that he, wrote these other ones that you described, but then he kind of, how would you describe it? He created the first black gay detective character.
Yeah. Like the first gay detective.
The
and
gay
he just
detective,
happened to be black too.
Yeah. And I think he wrote
1966.
other fiction with gay characters and stuff like that. Yeah, I think he writes great stories. Great stories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and that I just happened to notice that the book. It was called. Oh shoot! I lost it. I had it right here.
I had it written down.
Queer Kind of Death.
Yes, A Queer Kind of Death.
The name of it. It's
Yeah.
still available on Amazon.
Yeah, and the I believe the detective's name Pharaoh Love. Let me look.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be kind of a little comedic as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's A Queer Kind of Love, A Queer Kind of Umbrella, Swing Low, Sweet Harriet. I like that one. And then he wrote a bunch of books based on Hollywood figures. So there was the Dorothy Parker murder case, the Clark Gable and Carol Lombard murder case, Tallulah Bankhead murder case. There were 12 volumes, it looks like.
Wow.
Got the Edgar Award. He was a finalist for the Edgar Award for Best Novel in 1968 for A Parade of Cockeyed Creatures. It's interesting.
I love that there's a book called The Tallulah Bankhead Murder Case.
Yeah.
I know. William Powell and Myrna Loy.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. Carol
Fred Astaire and
Lombard.
Ginger Rogers murder case. Marlena Dietrich,
That's
Mae
awesome.
West, Noel Coward, Greta Garbo, Alfred Hitchcock, Humphrey Bogart, Betty Davis.
I know, it's great.
Nobody was safe. And apparently he wrote these fairly late. They were like, 84 to 98, it looks like.
When all these people were safe
They're
and dead, couldn't sue.
Oh, heck, yeah. Anyway, I just found that really interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He and John Gilling had competing. He claimed that Gilling said he rewrote the whole script. That's what I always do as we're shooting. Bax said, no, I did the rewrites. All he did was he wrote like 4 lines of dialogue when I wasn't looking. But yet, if you go by what Bax said about it being, he also said he never showed the cat. Like it was that shadow of the cat. It was just supposed to be the shadow, and that's why you would think it was a ghost or a supernatural thing. So that would mean that he did a lot more rewriting, I think, than 4 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, that would have been a whole lot easier if you just had like a cardboard cutout of a cat you'd hold in front of the light and just move around.
But anyway, I just the guy just seems like a really interesting character, and we're just sort of like, and he was gay as well. I'm just gonna write this gay detective book, and oh, by the way, he's black. We're just gonna break a couple of taboos right away.
Go for broke.
Yeah,
that was kind of neat. All righty. And so, the writing in this. So we don't really know what parts he wrote, what he didn't, but it is well paced, and no less than Barbara Shelley thinks the original version was better than what they filmed.
Can I ask everybody, did they think this was like a really dark comedy? Because there are some moments in there which I think are just hilarious.
You could take it that way, I think.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that was their intention, and I don't know. Maybe I
thought
didn't
some
really.
of the line readings were, very interesting. Let's put it that way.
Well, when they said we caught the cat, everybody starts screaming, "Kill it! Kill it! Kill it!"
I
They
know,
run to the
God, that
window or
was so
yelling out the
weird.
window.
I
"Kill
know.
it!"
Glee,
Well,
they were
what?
holding
I
up
know.
that pork thing.
I think there was a line where one of the characters talked about the cooking, and the Andre Morel character said, "I don't think so." Something about trying to kill the cat, but I thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
And
So
of course,
anyway.
the sardine part with the
sardine.
police officer
Yeah,
with
that
the trying to lure the cat, and he's like, "Here,
That was
kitty,
kind of
fishy,
funny.
That was
fishy."
a
These
little
two
bit
cops
of a laugh.
walking around the marsh going, one of them's going, puss, 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 puss. And the other one's going, fishy, fishy, fishy,
Fishy. Yeah,
Have a
that'll work.
sardine. Oh,
And then he eats
Yeah.
the sardine.
Yeah.
Hysterical stuff.
You know, I make fun of some of the, how stupid these people are, but they are entertaining. And
Right.
these
Mhm.
characters are, we get to know them and dislike them.
Yes.
They just a few lines when these, it's like, no more women. That's right, dear. It'll just be the two of you. And you're like, these people, if they somehow manage to kill the cat and find the original will and everything they got, they would immediately turn on each other. There's no
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, for
absolutely no
sure.
way that they're just
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Except
that kind of.
for the Louise character, I guess, gets a little conscious to
She's
the end.
yeah, she does. She does.
Well, I
little
think
bit
she's really
redeemable.
freaked out. I think
She just wants to get
Yeah,
out and
she
die.
just
Yeah.
wants to get out alive,
Mhm.
right?
When you
right.
talk about comedy, not so side street here. I was a big fan of Twin Peaks when it was first on, because I just thought it was the quirkiest, coolest thing I ever saw, and I loved the music and I loved the characters. So I've been rewatching it because I never did get to see the new versions.
Yeah.
So I'm probably about halfway through it. But now I just never realized how funny it was.
It was hysterical.
It's
yeah.
just, I mean, I took everything as a serious mystical thing. Of course, the pie, the trees,
right?
That stuff.
The log lady.
The log lady. That was all comedy. But almost sometimes there's places where every line is just like, it's cliche after cliche after cliche. But the actors are so earnest. They're so good at it, Anyway, so yeah, I think if I watch this again in another mood, I might be able to
That's true.
Take it that way. All right, so George Baxt, interesting character. Well, the star of the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Well, yes,
I don't know if it's a male or female. I guess female. They called it Tabitha, but who knows?
So we got 4 different cats playing because what are you gonna do? Yeah, that scene at the bottom. Look at the look of joy on his face. That's like he's holding up his Olympic medal that he just won.
That was
the
so
cat
terrible.
is like, yeah, whatever.
That scene was terrible, horrible.
Apparently, there was one scene where they shocked the cat to get it to do what they wanted it to do.
But the cat got revenge, though.
Right. It was the special effects guy, and I'm sorry, the is it Les Bowie?
Les Bowie, I think, was the special effects person. Yeah.
That later on, the cat shat all over him.
Well,
good for him.
Well, I think they described it as evacuated its bowels all over them.
They're not stupid.
You electrocute me, the same thing's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
That's another reason I don't like them.
I can't
tell what they're thinking. You could tell what a dog's thinking.
That's right.
He's home. I'm so glad he's home. The cat's like, oh, you again?
Feed me. Yeah.
Is there something you can do for me?
Some cats have very expressive faces, and they can like I've had cats that had the meanest expressions. They were the sweetest cats, but it's just that's the way it turned out. This cat's kind of neutral. And I think that works better than I would have initially thought, because you can read a lot into it. And in all likelihood, this cat is just looking at them, whatever. But their own guilt, like you said, their own guilt is being projected into this cat's eyes. And it was a good choice. Plus, every tabby looks alike, so they could, probably find an endless number of them to run around the house.
Well, I thought there was one scene where it looked like a black cat, but then I guess it was just in the window in shadow or something.
When it had that glowing eye.
Yeah.
Oh, but looking at down at that, I think Bill mentioned it, or someone else, but that scene down at the bottom with people like sticking their heads out the windows, screaming, kill
Yeah,
it, kill it.
at one point, I
It's
think the
just like,
Frida Jackson character is like licking her lips,
I know.
literally. It's like, oh
I mean, look
yeah,
at the
yeah.
smiles on their poor cat.
And of all the ways you could have killed him, putting him in a bag and then walking out into quicksand swamp area is possibly the dumbest. So on point for these nitwits.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I expected him to start banging it up on a rock or up against the wall of
See, that's
the house or something. And
well, that's you guys
So-
were talking about the opening scene being so horribly
Yeah.
violent. It's like, because you've seen that,
Well,
there's
you
this
can kill
guy
a
who
human
could,
that way,
yeah,
not
you
a-
could
not a
totally,
poor kitty cat. You can't kill a cat like that on film.
well, not on film,
not
but I
film,
mean,
but-
in the
Right.
story, you could see this guy doing the same
Yeah.
thing, or
Yeah.
even worse to the cat.
He cracked grandma's head
yeah.
open like an eggshell, but suddenly he's like, "Oh,
Right.
go do it somewhere, but I don't have to look at it."
Yeah, especially after it's clawed him half to death on his face, on his hand, where. Yeah.
So
Very good.
I was scared.
job,
I mean, that beginning scene, I think, really kind of made you realize what he was capable
Mhm. Yeah.
of.
well, and Walter, the Andre Morel character.
Mhm.
So the servant kills Ella, his wife,
Mhm.
right? He grabs her and he's carrying her down the stairs. There stands Walter.
It was so crazy.
He's supervising.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He follows him out into the woods to make sure he buries her. He's just standing there watching, but he's
Right.
he's literally
Yeah.
supervising,
Yeah.
making
Yeah,
sure
well,
it gets
yeah.
done, making sure you don't walk off into the bog and lose
Exactly.
her.
Right. Well, and they walk right past Clara. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
everybody's there watching.
Oh, she goes out to make sure
Yeah.
the coast is clear.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She makes sure that the one car in the entire region doesn't come driving by.
It's like, oh my gosh, all of you guys.
Well, there was something about the arrangement of the area, because the what was his name? The newspaper guy.
Latimer. Michael
no.
Latimer.
Yeah.
Latimer,
Is the
yeah,
character's name.
Michael is what I
No.
was thinking of. He seemed to be able to show up in a hurry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so it wasn't very far away. It must have.
You also see a little bit of one of the things that's kind of fun to watch in British films is the class structure.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
part of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, the servants are doing all the work, but what's his name? Walter is supervising because
Supervising,
he's the man of the house, and they're just
Yeah.
servants and everything else.
Mhm.
And
The Lord of the Manor.
and
And
his-
I'm wondering if that might have had something to do with the inspector's suppositions about what went on.
Mhm.
That class structure.
And then his brother is like, "How dare you accuse me, ask me questions in my own house?"
Yeah.
So how's that, Mikey? The class structure.
Well, I think the inspector may have been intimidated, maybe too strong a word, by I'm forgetting the character's name, Walter's status, let's say. And he didn't want to point an accusatory finger right away. He wanted to gather evidence. Wasn't doing a great job of it, but he was trying to gather evidence.
Yeah, yeah. So we have another cat
More kitty stuff.
group of cats here. Yeah, that's a great scene. That
Yeah.
Yeah,
one.
the bottom one, yeah. I thought there was another interesting shot. I don't know if you have a photo of the cat sitting on Walter's coffin. There's a quick shot where
Oh.
one of the characters looks in a room and the cat is sitting on the coffin,
Hmm.
staring at him.
Now, if you look carefully on that top picture, you can see the
Oh,
monofilament
little-
line
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
attached to his leg.
Mhm.
It's like,
Holding him in place, is that
Yeah.
the
this reminds me of an actual story. There was a nursing home that had a cat there, and the word got out. Apparently, if the cat came into your room and spent the night, those are the people who would die the next day. And they were like, the cat could somehow sense when people were
Yeah.
getting near the end,
Mm.
which is one interpretation. But it amazed me. Nobody actually thought to stop and say, maybe the cat is actually killing these people.
It's
I
doing
mean-
the
That's a
baby
li-
thing. It's crawling up on their mouth and
Yeah, that's right.
Cat's eye. Okay.
Isn't there something like that in Doctor Sleep?
Yes.
Is there-
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's an old wives' tale thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mention it in
Uh-huh.
this film a couple of times, actually.
Mhm.
I think the
Yeah, they
Walter
did.
character actually mentions it. Yeah.
So I have several pictures of Andre Morel at the beginning
Mhm.
as he dies, but
Mhm.
these are, and this guy's got a great career, but I just
Mm-hmm.
picked these because they're favorites of mine. So
Mhm. Yeah.
the top one is the BBC production of 1984.
And,
And,
yeah.
Yeah,
that
that is a
Peter
great
Cushing.
presentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Winston, and Andre Morel as O'Brien, I think his name was. The next picture down is from the BBC series of Quatermass in the Pit
Nice.
with Michael Ripper. And that is excellent. Anybody want to check that out? I think that you can get a Blu-ray, but you have to make sure you've got a player that can play it. I can't remember if it's region free or if it's all already. I can't remember anyway.
But he
And the
wasn't
bottom
in the,
one.
He wasn't in the film version though.
No, he was
No,
not.
that was Andrew Keir.
Andrew
I think.
Kerr,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Keir.
Right.
And Barbara Shelley.
And Barbara Shelley, yes.
And the bottom picture,
Yeah.
Watson.
Yeah,
Hounds of the
Baskervilles.
Baskervilles.
Yeah.
And Andre Morel played Watson to Cushing's Holmes.
Excellent film.
I forgot that he was in 1984 and did such a good job in that.
Oh, he's so devious.
Mhm.
That is one of the more disturbing
Mm-hmm.
TV productions of any kind that I've watched.
And he's very good in this. I mean, he's evil.
Mhm.
He, but you do get the sense that there is some guilt there, some regret, and that he actually genuinely likes Barbara Shelley.
I just wonder how much does he like Barbara Shelley? There's a
Well,
line there where he says, "I'll take care of you."
yeah.
In a way that I don't know. I raised my eyebrow and said,
You wonder. Although,
yeah. And Frida Jackson gives him like a what the hell are
Right.
you talking about?
but
If
when
you
he
get-
says it, you feel like he means it. When the other guy says it, it's like, yeah, I'll take care of you.
Yeah, right.
We
Well,
we got a spot in the swamp for you.
right.
If you get the Scream Factory, Quatermass in the Pit, the commentary, and I forget, I should have looked, I guess, but it's Constantine Nasser and somebody else. And they spend a fair amount of time kind of arguing about whether the film or the series was better. So now that I've seen the series, it would mean something to me. When I first heard it, it just irritated me because I wanted to hear about the film.
It might have been Steve Haberman. They do a lot of
That sounds
commentary
right.
together.
That sounds right.
So,
That sounds
yeah.
right. And I'm not dissing them; they're very knowledgeable guys. But anyway, in a way, they sold a Blu-ray of the series, even though it kind of irritated me. So yeah, he does a great job. He's a fine actor. All right. Who else we got here? I think we got some Barbara Shelley lined up.
He has some Shelley, yeah.
What did I do with her? Here she is.
Where'd you put Barbara?
There she is.
Aw.
Wow.
That's a great picture of both of them, actually.
Mhm.
She,
It is,
she
yeah,
looks
very
beautiful,
nice
and that cat
production,
actually looks genuinely
still.
scary.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw a picture of her and somebody in an open car wearing that costume. Wearing the costumes from the movie. I forget who else was in the thing. And then we have this.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah.
So those
Playing
are good
another
shots.
character that has strength and smarts and
Yeah, she was a very strong-willed
and
woman in
grace
this.
and
Yeah,
she wasn't afraid to interact with these people and
right.
call them on their junk and
Yeah. I think what's always attracted me to her is that she's she has intelligence. She
Mhm.
projects intelligence, and
Mhm.
I think that's one reason. Although I think she's very pretty in this film, I think she's
Mhm.
even more attractive in some of the later films.
The
She
Dracula,
gets, she gets
Prince of
better looking
Darkness.
as she
Yeah.
gets older, and Prince of Darkness is just it's a tour de force. She is so good in
Mhm.
that. She plays the repressed role, and then once she's turned into the vampire, you couldn't have a better contrast. It's a great
Mhm.
performance.
In the video interview where she's so old, and apparently she died in 2021,
Yeah.
and she got COVID,
Mm.
and they says that she recovered, but then died. I think it weakened her, and
Yeah.
she still died shortly after that.
She had been frail.
But in the interview, she's talking about this movie, and I think it was this movie, and she says something like, "Don't you dare say I overacted, or I'll bash you." And the guy kind of laughs, and then she goes, "Did I overact?"
Not at
I don't
all.
know. She had such a sweetness about her when
Yeah.
she talked about other people, that she was very good at getting the point across. And
I read some of that, in my opinion, ridiculous criticism of her when we were talking about Quatermass, and it's just like,
yeah,
no, she did not
go fly
overact.
kite. Go fly kite.
She has a charisma. She has a
Mm-hmm.
likability, and that's
Yep.
something that's underestimated. You can be
Mm-hmm.
ravishingly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all these attributes, charisma, likability,
Mhm.
that
Yep.
connection that you can instantly that
Mhm.
top picture.
Mhm.
That I feel like she knows me and
Mhm.
likes me. We never met.
Mhm.
Sorry to say, but
Yeah.
that's a great skill to
Mhm.
have as an actress.
Mhm.
And she talked about, she also talked in that interview about, she called it hammer glamour,
Mhm.
that she was never part of that. She never was asked to do anything, and she never had any shots taken at Hammer.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them. Let's
Mhm.
put it that way, like Hammer women, that women of Hammer kind of thing.
Mhm.
Even though she's gorgeous, I think
I love me some Hammer, but I think you could make the argument they made a big mistake when they went from lead actresses like Barbara Shelley and Melissa Stribling from Horror of Dracula, more mature women, to more of the I don't want to insult the actresses or
The
anything. But
ingenues.
yeah, who were just basically cannon fodder for Dracula or Frankenstein or whoever the monster was, with a few exceptions. Veronica Carlson certainly, held her own too. But I agree. And well, they missed the boat there for sure. So
Another
here's
thing,
some other stuff. Here's some other stuff she did.
I just wanted to say that there's another thing that she did really well that we kind of allude to, is that she doesn't necessarily have to talk a lot, or her characters don't have to talk a lot. You just feel, because of the charisma, that she's participating, she's listening with you, she's having an actual human interaction with you, and that's amazing. It's great.
That's a good point. She clearly is on to these people.
Mhm.
She does not hold them in any high regard. Feel the need to
Mhm.
say that out loud.
Mhm.
And we agree with her.
Mhm.
So we've done a bunch of her movies. I'm trying to see without going past them, but I know we did Quatermass in the Pit. We did the Gorgon.
We did Rasputin.
You guys did
Susan
Rasputin.
Rasputin.
Another wonderful role for her.
I've never seen Blood of the Vampire. That's one of those ones.
Village of the Damned is another one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yes, yes, that's right.
I wish the Catgirl were better. It's basically just a low budget ripoff of Cat People.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that good.
Yeah, it's not, but it's the one that got her into horror, I think.
Wow, so
no, she actually talks fondly about the large cat that was used in the film. She says it used to come into her dressing room. She'd have to cover the mirror so that the cat didn't see its reflection, because it didn't like other cats. But it would lay its head on her shoulder. And then we're not talking about a little tabby. We're talking about a large cheetah type of
You're
cat.
right. She did talk about that. Yeah.
Which doesn't really sound like the safest of work conditions to be allowing this maiming.
Well,
machine
you
to run
don't know.
around.
It might have been declawed and defanged. And
Sure.
But she's
You're like one of those
Hammer, they spared no coin and safety.
Jeff, you're one of those people who have like a Doberman, and the first time I meet you, the Doberman's like snarling and growling and frothing at the mouth, and you're like, "Oh, he's okay. He's more afraid of you than you are of him." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a lot of BS."
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, well, let him check my pants while I walk away.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to do some of these. We got to do Dracula, Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
All we've done is the first two. We've done Brides of Dracula and Dracula and the Mummy and the first two Frankensteins.
Those are all good, but there's more.
There is more. Okay. Well, we've mentioned her quite a bit. Frida Jackson, who was the one that was screaming. We've done some films of her.
Brides of Dracula is just
that's the top picture is from Brides of Dracula.
She is full-born nutso in that one.
The center picture is Die Monster Die.
Oh, I didn't realize she was in that. I have to look at that again.
She gets worse. and then I think her face gets all scaly like that and then deflates, one of those effects. And the bottom one with the patch and the glassy eye.
Is that
Flash?
Oh, okay.
She was
right. Yes, that's the gypsy lady, right? Yeah. Right.
Huh.
I think I described her in the notes as like, imagine Una O'Connor just amped up, just hysterically demented. Because that's what she reminds me of in like this film and in Brides of Dracula specifically. She plays like the house domestic or whatever, but she's just so hysterical. And if you equate to like what Una O'Connor did in the Universal films, puts them on the same level. Only she really goes to 11. Frida Jackson.
She goes bananas in is it Brides of Frankenstein?
Yeah. She makes me
Dracula.
I always think of Young Frankenstein and Cloris Leachman.
Yes,
Frau Blue.
She did.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a scene in this movie where she turned towards the door to open it, and I'm like going, they should have had a horse name.
Yeah,
right, a horse name, Ovaltine or something like that.
She was in Clash of the Titans.
Really? What did she
Stygian witch.
Oh, she was one of the witches.
Witches. Okay.
Oh, nice.
I really like her. I think she's just
she has
interesting.
Not a lot of credits, so I don't know. 45 credits.
It's a great scene in Brides of Dracula where she's like coaxing the vampire.
Oh,
out of
yeah.
her coffin.
Oh yeah, there's a wide variety of pictures in that one. There's ones where she looks very distinguished, and other ones where she's just evil incarnate.
Gone totally bonkers.
She appeared in some 62 major stage roles. So that's why only 45 film roles. So busy actress. She's really good in this, and she plays it to the hilt. Now, this one, I didn't recognize his name, but as I was watching this, I'm going, I know that guy. The Constable.
No.
Alan Wheatley played the Sheriff of Nottingham in the Robin Hood, The Adventures of Robin Hood with Richard Green.
Oh, okay. I thought he looked familiar as well. I'm like, I know I've seen him before.
That was one of those shows it was on Saturdays. I watched it religiously just because I think we've talked about this before, but there are certain shows that have an opening that you just love.
Yeah.
Like the Lone Ranger. In The Adventures of Robin Hood, he fires an arrow, and it's just the coolest sound effects. I have no doubt that it sounds nothing like shooting an arrow from a longbow, but it sounds cool. It flies through the air and hits the target, and then that shows the credits come on spinning. I watch that show just to see that again. And then I go, oh, I got to watch 20 minutes until I get to another show. He does a good job. He's a police inspector, but he's kind of clueless.
Yep.
Clueless. Can't be this guy. He's wealthy.
Right.
The Sheriff of Nottingham. He's just always after Robin Hood. And trying to pull some shenanigans.
Yeah, he's literally, they won't suspect the upper class guy. They come up with, well, who knows? She could have run into some vagabond,
Right. Exactly.
Some poor person, lower
But
class.
no poor person would go into the swamp, right?
No.
Well, speaking of the swamp, now here's some.
Yeah.
So the top picture here was when they're carrying poor Aunt Ella off into the barrier.
And I thought that was a creepy shot when they throw the dirt on her face.
Yeah.
You know, when they're first burying her. I thought that was kind of disturbing, to say the least. Yeah.
Kind of stupid to leave the hand sticking out there. Maybe.
Well, I wonder about that. I wonder if she was trying to claw her way out. Maybe if she
that's what I was thinking too. Is that she suffocated under there,
or the cat was like digging a litter box and just sort of
possibly, yeah.
So it's nice to know that we're not Americans aren't the only ones who grew up in fear of quicksand.
It was
I've seen enough Frankenstein and mummy films to know to stay away from that. Yeah.
So the guy in the blog, that was Andrew. And his name, that's Andrew Crawford, was the actor. And actually, the shot that I saw, this must be when he was going down, and he was thrashing around, because when they drag him out of there, you can't see his face.
You can't tell who that is.
That's kind of
disturbing. Also,
they got their big drag hooks. They're dragging through the bog, and pretty soon his body gets pulled up.
Should have left him there. In 3,000 years, it'll be a museum piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, look.
So this has its bits. The fall from the roof was pretty good too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. The way they cut that was whoever the stuntman was when he made the landing.
It was effective.
I hope he was wearing padding.
There's one.
I know he wasn't going from a great height, but
still it hurts.
The way he landed.
Well, the way they shot it too. I just thought that was
There's one other bit part that I like at the very, very end. The grandfather.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's from Fiend Without a Face. I'm like, where have I heard this cranky old man before? And it's like, oh yes, I love that movie.
I understand his billing. He gets like premier billing, and
you
he's
should just remember Keaniston Reeves.
10 seconds he's in this thing. But I guess they valued him.
Well, first you're thinking, oh, good, now they'll have a good family, but then right away the family's talking about how do we get father to give
exactly
right, change his will, work on him a little bit,
and the cat's just rubbing her paws.
Right,
my work has just
more
begun.
Dopes I have to deal with. Okay.
All righty. The final thoughts on this. I mean, it's 1961, black and white, English, so it's not gruesome. Graphically gruesome, but gruesome things happen. And the cat is just ever present and seems to know where to go to get the humans to act stupid. The guy chases her out in the bog and tries to walk across the street. Then the guy we just talked about falling off the top of the roof. I'm sorry. The minute he headed for that window, goes out on that ledge, I'm going, what?
Yeah. Have you not been paying attention?
you just are freaking out because the cat's always jumping at you from nowhere and scaring you. So now I'm going to go someplace where if you do that, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
There was another scene that I thought was delicious too, is when I think it was the same character opens up the window in the grandfather's room when he's sleeping, and then just like walks out.
Yes. Oh, he needs some air.
He needed some air.
And then he gloated about it to his wife afterwards. Right. Yeah, not a nice person.
No.
Yeah, they were all
joined the
three of them
choir
were already
invisible, right?
discussing- I
Yep.
think the three of them were already discussing, still in the house, what they were going to do.
Yeah. Oh well.
So great.
Well, there was something quick, if I can pull up really quick. Catherine Lacey. She was in The Lady Vanishes in 1938.
Right. She played the
Hitchcock flick.
nun, I think.
The
Remember that?
Nun.
Yeah. She was also in a Karloff film later on, I believe. The Sorcerer, I believe, is the name of the film.
Oh, Sorcerers, the one by Michael Reeves.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Karloff in 66, 67, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's a cool little film.
Yeah.
She's in The Mummy Shroud too.
No.
Oh well, can't win them all.
I thought she also did well in this acting.
There's not a bad performance.
Well, she starts reading what? The Raven when the film starts?
Yeah.
So you think there's going to be maybe a Poe time?
I don't. Yeah, I mean,
And,
you kind of have the black, but
and it sort of has like a little bit of the telltale heart to the story, a little bit,
and
not too
the
much.
black cat. I mean,
Right.
you know, without the gruesome aspects of it, it is the cat that leads the guilty to their
without the
their
black.
doom. Yeah.
Right.
And I thought of that too, and I think Gilling said they had her do that just to let the audience know it was going to be a creepy movie. That was good.
If the poster didn't give it away.
Right.
Something along those lines.
How
yes.
dumb do they think we
Yes.
are, really?
Let's have her reading Poe. That'll get the
Once
idea.
upon a midnight dreary, as I signed the will.
So again, they think we're so stupid that we look at this poster and think, well, this looks like a right comedy. But they think we're so smart that we know who Poe is. And we, when she starts, I mean, I don't see the consistency.
Maybe they'll think it's maybe AI appeal by it.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think this came out right after Corman did the Fall of the House
All
of
of
Usher.
Usher, yes. As a matter of fact,
there's your
they said
answer right there.
that probably hurt the box office because that came out at roughly the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they weren't very. They got mixed reviews. Some thought it was silly, and
Well, it was on the double bill with Curse of the Werewolf, I believe,
Which-
and that film unfortunately didn't do well, and this didn't help.
No. But this is not a great combo because Curse of the Werewolf is very hardcore gothic monster horror, and this seems a little old-fashioned, but that's okay.
It's very cozy.
It's like an old dark house mystery,
Yeah.
I think it would have been more. I think it would have been darker with the original screenplay.
Yeah,
a little more psychological, darker than just
right.
Stupid bad people.
Stupid bad people.
Okay.
Title.
Stupid bad people.
Last comments? Anybody? Last comments?
Yeah, good
Please
film.
watch
Good
it.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, good film. One that's enjoyable.
I think it'd be good to watch with younger viewers, that are interested in kind of spooky stuff. I mean, except for the big violence in the beginning and maybe a little bit, maybe the cat murder, maybe not, but I feel like the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is, spoiler, the cat doesn't die.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
So they
That's right.
know who not to hurt. Kill off the people. Don't kill off the pets and the animals. I thought there was one comment. Oh, we haven't really talked about this guy, but William Lucas co-starred in X the Unknown.
What did he do in X the Unknown? William Lucas.
Well, he plays Jacob in this one, the guy that falls off the building.
And it seems like after every murder, he has a cigarette. Did you notice that? If somebody gets killed, he lights up.
Oh, and I apologize. The article you were talking about with boobs
Oh,
is beasts, bosoms, and balloons.
oh,
There
okay.
you go.
So there you go.
Still kind of telling that I translated boom.
Yeah.
That's funny, Jeff.
So somebody asked
You're
me
talking
about.
about
I'm trying to
Richard.
find.
Yes, I know.
God, why do I have to take so long? Well, that doesn't tell me a whole lot. And X the Unknown, he plays Peter Elliott.
Okay, yeah. Trying to.
Wow.
He's not Dean Jager, or he's not one of the lead guys, but he's there.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I think we should end this before we say something else we shouldn't say, or I say something else I shouldn't say, and move on to feedback. Does that sound cool with everybody?
Yeah.
I've got the
185
feedback.
Lake of the Dead
Mhm.
from Dallas.
This is from Dallas Nostromo. I disagree with every single one of Chad's opinions regarding this film.
And Chad didn't watch it. He watched the wrong movie.
Wow.
How unlike him.
Yeah.
Oh God, did he watch like a Jess Franco zombie
No.
movie or something?
He watched the next movie instead of the one we were supposed to do. He watched the werewolf.
Oh, okay.
The 56 werewolf. Before, when we did the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad and Ralph was on with us,
Oh, poor
Oh,
Chad.
yeah.
he watched I forget whichever one he watched a different Sinbad.
I think
And
he saw The Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, and he
Oh.
started arguing with Ralph about something, and Ralph goes, "No, you're talking about such and such movie." And then Chad's face just went.
I watched the wrong movie.
recognition.
Deer in the
I
headlight.
watched
That's funny.
the wrong movie.
Oh, that was so funny. I think subconsciously he avoided the Lake of the Dead.
He should have just stuck to his guns. Like, no, I watched the right movie. There was no lake, but there was a werewolf. Shut up, all of you.
Right, it was Werewolf
Okay.
in the Lake. Yes. was the name of
So
the film.
Bill,
Yes.
episode 186, The Werewolf, also from Dallas Nostromo.
Dallas says, watch this for the podcast, and Jeff was right about Don McGowan sounding like Clint Walker. I actually looked him up on IMDb just to make sure they weren't related. I also thought Stephen Rich was a more sympathetic character than Lon Chaney because Talbot could be kind of a jerk, peeping in girls' rooms with a telescope and yelling at doctors and nurses to cure them all the time. Why do werewolves have to be so whiny?
Oh,
Yeah, you never hear the mummy
I know.
complaining.
Jeez.
I know.
Well, they cut his tongue off, but okay.
Me.
Yeah.
These are good.
Wah,
points.
wah, wah. I turned to a wolf. Wah, wah, wah.
I don't think you didn't see that one, but Don McGowan is the guy that played the creature in The Creature Walks Among Us,
Right.
Oh.
among other.
Now, he had reason to complain after all the crap that was done to him, but did he? No.
Exactly.
All right, episode
So
187,
funny, Dallas.
The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. Mikey, Emulous 79.
Emulous 79 says, weird coincidence. I was just looking at Shirley Manson's bio, and it said she was born in 1966. Then I watched this video that says the film was released in 1966. A good year, I suppose.
So, you know who Shirley Manson is, anybody?
Oh, garbage, right?
Yeah.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I had to look her up. Wow, you guys.
She's great. Garbage is a
She's a
fantastic-
great
I know, I
band,
listened to a
yeah.
few songs, and I'm like, these
Really
guys are
good
pretty
band, yeah.
She was also a regular in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh.
Just
Oh,
like
I
10 or
didn't know
11
she was into
episodes,
acting.
something like
Okay.
that. She
Cool.
did some. Kind of waffle back and forth.
Yeah, I always
Okay.
love redheads. She's from Scotland, I believe.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the other one we just found out about that did all that singing?
It was from
From Lost Continent?
Lost Continent.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
The one with the bosoms, Jeff.
You know,
Yes.
the boobs.
The boobs, yeah.
Boobs
Balloons.
to balloons.
She was good.
It
She,
was
that-
either
that's right.
boobs or
That was a great
balloons. I
interview.
don't know. Yeah.
Not to reduce her to a body part. She was a very intelligent and interesting person.
That's such a great interview with her on that and that extra. She's seems so interesting.
Again, episode 187, The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini from Jose. Bill?
Like Chad and Dirk, I am not a fan of beach party type films. When I watch one, I can feel my IQ dropping and my blood sugar rising. That being said, this sounds like it's worth a view for the it's so bad it's good aspect. And if a film is entertaining for some reason, it can't be all bad. I remember reading an article years ago about Karloff's final years and the films in which he appeared. The writer wondered if Karloff was into what he was doing or if he was just hoping the check cleared. That kind of hurt. I think he just wanted to go out doing what he'd always done.
Loved to act. And
yeah.
I mean, I've go ahead.
No, it is when you hear, he's down to like half a lung. Right. He's in a wheelchair, sucking on oxygen. They say action. He puts it down, gets up, says his lines, sits back in the chair and starts sucking. And you're just like, dude. But
right. He didn't have to. He was well off. He made a nice living and he invested properly. He just loved to act. And he wanted to go out. Yeah.
And that's an enviable thing, to find something that you love. That you don't. Retirement is a curse if it's something you love that much.
Well, I saw an interview with Eric Roberts, and that all kind of changed my mind on that stuff. We see some of these guys, and I don't know what the reason is behind them, but people like Michael Madsen, Eric Roberts, Val Kilmer,
come say Nicolas Cage,
Nicolas Cage, but they at least what Eric Roberts said is, I just want to act, and if I'm not doing something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Lost my place. I think we have one more. Where are we at?
Ralph Miller.
Mikey.
Yeah. Mikey. Miller. Okay. Ralph Miller, my buddy, says, I imagine some film goers were hoping to see something completely different when they read Invisible Bikini in the title.
Yeah.
Yes, I was interesting. It was like, how is this
that was my take. I'm like, the bikini's supposed to be invisible.
See, well, it is.
So
there's
was
a big
the girl,
difference between invisible and transparent. There's
yes,
they're not the same.
It was through and through invisibility.
Well, I think if you wore your X-ray specs that you got in the back of like Famous Monsters or those comic books, you could see the bikini.
Oh, those were disappointing, and so was X the Man with X-ray eyes.
Yeah,
which is a film you should be doing.
We went clear from. I think there's a shot where you see like bras and slips and stuff, but after that they just go
skeletons.
Right.
Yeah. Whoops.
I'm like, come on.
Skipped right by the good stuff.
There's no middle ground. Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of ways to stay in touch. We love our comments. Please send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or you can leave comments on Gruesome Magazine's YouTube channel, which is where most of them come from. Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group, or our website at gruesomemagazine.com. We also have a Patreon channel, and for a few dollars a month, you will get Decades of Horror, usually the day, once in a while, 2 days after it's recorded. Otherwise, we usually wait 12 to 14 days before it goes public. So you will get first shot. And Decades of Horror of the 1970s is doing an episode-by-episode feature on Kolchak, the Night Stalker. This coming Wednesday, as we record this, we'll be recording episode 13 out of 20. And then when we're done, I guess we're going to do some other show. I think we already know what it is, but, maybe not. All right. So sign up for Patreon. Like, share, get alerts, all that stuff. Let people know about us if you enjoy us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Give us ideas. If we missed something about one of these actors, and I know we did because we didn't talk about half of them here, let us know. All right. That's it for this episode, but every 2 weeks we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969. Next up is one chosen by Daphne. there happens to be one of John Gilling's films that we didn't mention. What are we doing next, Daphne?
We are doing The Flesh and the Fiends.
Yay.
And that was something that Chris Peters, who people know from Facebook group and stuff, he encouraged. He thought I would really like it. So, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, he was talking that up too, and it was either a new release or it was on sale. I don't remember what, from Kino Lorber, I think. So anyway, yeah, looking forward to that. Starring Peter Cushing, Donald Pleasance, and Billy Whitelaw.
Yep.
Sort of a Burke and Hare.
Burke and Hare, yeah, very good.
In fact, it is a Burke and Hare. Yeah. And they're, you know, imagine how you think people's hygiene was in the 1850s. They do a good job of depicting that, I think.
Okay. All right. I am there with Bill.
Remember when English people had bad teeth? Yikes.
So check that out, everybody. Thanks so much, Bill and Mikey, for joining us.
Thank
you. My pleasure. I had a great time.
As always. Doc, hope you're having a great time in Vegas. And Chad, don't overdo
your business.
What you're taking care of. Yeah. Everything sounded bad when I started to say that.
Chad's okay.
Yeah,
Chad is physically fine, just for the record.
He is
folks.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is. He is.
I mean, Doc may be losing his shirt in Vegas for
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Exactly.
Doc's going to be calling Jeff for money, you know, send the money to get home.
Yeah.
At any rate, thanks to all our listeners and viewers. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
And watch out.